And good afternoon. It is Thursday, May 7th, 2018. Hey, how about that? This is Guy's Daily Drive. How about that? Alrighty. Another glorious day. The sun is out. Most of the clouds aren't around. Nice and bright and sunny. And it's only 82 degrees. That's a good thing. So it's not so friggin' humid. Now, this coming Thursday, actually 1 week from today, next Thursday, Tracy and I are flying out to Boise, Idaho, because it is my mother-in-law's 90th birthday that's coming up, and we would like to spend that special day with her. I haven't seen her in a number of years, since she doesn't really travel anymore. It's uncomfortable, and her eyesight and her hearing isn't what it used to be, and she just prefers to stay where she is. And you know what? That's okay. She doesn't have to go anywhere if she doesn't want to. I wish she didn't live in Boise, Idaho. And it's Gary Apter, who lives out in Boise, who I hope to be able to see while I'm there, was giving me crap because I kept kind of talking smack about Boise. It's actually not that bad. It's a nice place to visit. It's I wouldn't particularly want to live there, but that's me. If you like outdoor activities, Idaho is a wonderful place to live. And I do enjoy outdoor activities. I just don't like the cold and the snow that kind of go hand in hand with that part of the country. Actually, I don't think they get that much snow, but it can be bitterly cold. And it gets cold enough here in Virginia. I don't even particularly care for it here. However, in order to get to Idaho, because it is far, far, far too far to drive, far, we're going to fly. And like the old joke goes, you can't get there from here. And there is no way to go directly from Washington, D.C. to Boise, Idaho. It can't be done unless you have a private plane. So we have to go someplace else first, which we will. And then I think we've got like an hour and a half layover, which is just about the right time, depending on which big hub you fly into, to be able to get from one flight to the next. When I was smoking, I used to look for longer layovers, especially on long flights, because that would give me time, especially since 9/11, to go out through security, have a smoke or two, and then come back in through security in order to catch my flight, because most airports there is no place to smoke anymore. There are a couple of exceptions. The last time I flew through some of them, but for the most part, you can't smoke in airports anymore, which means you have to leave the terminal, or leave the main part of the airport and go someplace else to have a cigarette. But now that I don't smoke anymore, and it's been over a year, middle of May was kind of my 1 year mark for non-smokage. Still want to, Still feel the need to, but I haven't. I have resisted. But the main thing that I really wanted to talk about today was not so much traveling. I don't mind travel. I don't like flying. There's something about getting into a pressurized metal tube that is going to be in excess of 35,000 feet, flying somewhere between 400 and 600 miles per hour. That just doesn't make me happy. You have absolutely no control over where you go, how you get there. And the airlines, I did a couple of tweets earlier today talking to the airlines, of which, of course, I got no reply because I was less than complimentary. The airlines, in order to maximize their profits, have taken a number of steps. See, the problem for the airlines is there's a lot more airlines out now, and so they have to compete on cost because people are cheap and they don't want to spend more money than they have to fly, which, okay, that's fine. However, in order to be able to do that and still make a profit, it means they have to do a couple of things. Number one, they have to get more people on each flight so that they're not running a flight at a loss, which, if your plane is only half full, chances are you're not making any money on that flight. The other thing they do is charge for everything. So, more people on a plane. Now, you can't determine how many people will take a flight, but you can determine how many people can take a flight. So what they've done is made the seats smaller and smaller and smaller to cram as many potential people on the plane as they possibly can, which, if you are of average height and weight, is cramped but doable. If you're above average weight and height, as I am in both regards, it's a nightmare. I had a flight out to San Francisco one year from Macworld on United Airlines, calling you out, and they had me all the way in the back. Seat didn't recline, which I hardly ever do anyway, so I don't care. But there was so little room for my legs that I could not, literally, with me sitting in that chair, I could not put my feet on the ground with my knees together. I had to spread my legs apart in order to get my feet on the ground. So not very comfortable, especially for a 4 to 5 hour flight. So I stood up almost the entire flight back where the flight attendants are, and they were very accommodating as best they could, so thank you to them, but boo on United in general. And so they make the seats small. And then they determined that by law, some seats can't be that small, like exit row seats. So what used to be actually cheaper, because exit row seats have certain restrictions, and if you sit in these seats, you have to be able to follow the flight attendant's instructions in case of an emergency. So those seats would actually be a little cheaper. Not anymore, since there's more room. They charge more for the exit row seats. And then they've done something that they call Economy Plus, or whatever Airlines equivalent of it, where they give you a seat. It's no bigger than the seats they give to everyone else, but they give you like a scotch more legroom, and they charge extra for that. They charge extra for having a suitcase, not for having excessive baggage, which is understandable, not for having multiple bags, also understandable, but if you have just one bag, they charge you anywhere from $25 to $50 for having a suitcase. If that bag is over a certain weight, typically around 50 pounds, which isn't that much for a suitcase, they charge you more for that. So this great deal that you thought you were getting on a flight to wherever ends up costing you $25 to $50 more for your suitcase. It ends up costing you more if you need just a little bit more legroom. And God forbid you decide to upgrade to business, or if it's offered first class, which first class seats are really not that much larger than what regular seats used to be. So they pack you in like sardines. They no longer give you, they used to give you a meal. Now you're lucky if they come around with a cart with peanuts or chips of some kind and a soft drink. Of course, alcohol is extra. And, okay, I can understand that. But they just turned the experience of flying, which used to be somewhat glamorous, into something that people dread. And the whole experience of flying now, where you have to be at the airport 2 hours ahead of time because you probably have to go through security, or you have to go through security. The tiny seats, the usually lack of people at the check-in counters. They take every shortcut they can. Customer service is no longer job one for an industry that used to pride itself on customer service. They used to brag about how much legroom you had or how much shoulder room you had. They don't talk about it anymore because they've taken it away. And honestly, with all the stupid extras that they make you pay, why not just charge a little more? It's fine that you want to make a profit, I get that. But don't advertise a price for a ticket and then have it cost nearly that much more based on simple things like wanting a reasonably comfortable seat and wanting to check a bag. I would pay $100 more per ticket if I didn't have to worry about checking in a bag. If they had seats that were comfortable, that, I think we're down to 18 inches in width for a seat. Take it back up to 21 or 22 inches, please. Is that so flippin' hard? I don't like to fly because the airlines have made it impossible for me to derive any pleasure at all from flying. It used to be that the journey was part of the destination. Now, the journey is something that you dread. It's something that you just can't wait for it to be over. That you have to go to extraordinary lengths just to get to the place where they're going to make you uncomfortable for 1 to 6 hours domestically, just to get someplace just a little bit faster. I mean, it's no wonder that I drive as much as I do. I could fly to Cleveland to see my friend Dave. I could fly to Chicago for the MacStock Conference and Expo, which will be July 21st and 22nd of this year in Woodstock, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. I will be driving because flights suck. I drive to Florida, 10 hours or more to Florida, because between having to be at the airport 2 hours ahead of time, and all the inconvenience and all the discomfort, and then having to wait at the other end for bags and everything else and getting a rental car, by the time all that is done, I've saved an hour, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. So, screw that noise. Make it fun again. Make flying fun. That's job one for all airlines. That's what you should be doing. If you'd like to get a hold of me, you can reach me through 2 email addresses, guy@mymac.com, probably, and guy@mttfgo.com. My Twitter handle is MacParrot. You can also find me on the MyMac.com podcast that I do with Gary Gazmaz Malpaz, my partner in crime there since 2009, 2010. And my new venture, relatively new venture, I've been doing it over a year, the Mac to the Future Go live cast that I do on the Facebooks every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is going to about do it for this episode of Guy's Daily Drive. I appreciate the fact that you have taken the time to either watch this on the Facebooks or listen to it through your podcatcher of choice. Eventually, I'm hoping Apple will finally make it available in iTunes. Maybe. Apple, can we work on that, please? I talk enough good stuff about you where it shouldn't be that big a deal. Anyway, we shall catch you next time on Guy's Daily Drive.